Hey, everybody. Kevin J Johnston here. It is Thursday, October the 19th, and we're going to be talking about dating advice. Once again, this is the Thursday night show that we thought we'd put together because so many people thought it wise to ask me for dating advice and relationship advice, and I'm only too happy to comply because answering questions is what I love to do. It is what I do. It's what I'll do forever. Don't forget, everybody, that you are absolutely welcome to send questions in. We're on Facebook, D Live, Rumble, and I don't know, Twitch, I think, some other stuff. We're all over the place. So anybody who wants to ask a question or be part of the show, shoot me a quick email, which is freedomreport.ca@gmail.com. In fact, that's the email address in the bottom right corner. You can send over your phone number if you want me to call, send over your email address, and I'll send you a link that you can come in, be on screen, and ask any and all questions that you have about dating advice and so on and so forth. Well, remember last week, everybody, how I asked all of you ladies out there if you wanted to get some advice on men to never go to women for that, go to men for that. Because ladies, whenever I want advice on how to handle a woman, especially one who's mad at me for I don't know what, we never know what, but I go to a woman to ask how do I appease this? How do I stop this? If I go to guys and ask, you know what's going to happen. Get rid of the bitch, dump her. I don't need that nonsense. So I do not go to men for advice on how to handle women who are in some way, shape, or form upset with anything I've said or done, which I don't know, seems to be all the time. I'm one of those guys that just can't quite figure out why. I think I'm doing my best, whatever it is, ladies. So let's talk about this. Melanie is going to be on in about 10 minutes time, maybe even less. And Melanie and I are going to go through first date questions that you should ask a man on a first date with a man if you are a woman, written by a man. Yeah, because I thought about what I would want to be asked if I was going to be asked anything on a first date. And nothing that we talked about last week that was in a woman's magazine written by a woman is anything I'd want to hear coming out of any woman's mouth on a first date. But first, before Melanie gets here, ladies, I got to clear some legends up, some things. We gotta really clarify for you lovely, lovely, beautiful women out there that you're still going to other women for advice, and you think that men think like you, and we do not. So a lot of ladies out there are actually avoiding the dating game deliberately because you have ideas in your head about what we think and what we want, and you're wrong. So let's clear and I'm not insulting you, by the way. It's okay to be wrong because you're here to learn. That's what this is all about. So 10 things women think men are looking for in women. I'm going to tell you what it is that you lovely ladies think. Then I'm going to tell you the truth. Let's start. Number one, money. A lot of you ladies out there think that you have to have lots and lots and lots and lots of money in the bank and earn lots of money every week, or else we men will not be interested in you. Nothing could be further from the truth. How many times have you heard the statement that women date sideways and up and men date backwards and down? All right, what that means is men are okay with being the breadwinners, the wage earners. We're okay doing all of the hard work out there to make sure that we are the ones earning for you because Mother Nature dictates that to be the case. And that biology is not going to change anytime soon. So no, I'm just happy to know that a woman can pay her rent and feed herself. That's pretty much as far as it goes for me. You don't have to be rich. You don't have to have massive inheritances coming down the pike. None of that's my business, really. I want to be involved with someone who can pay their bills because that person is going to be able to converse with me because they're not stressing out about not paying their bills. But you certainly do not have to be a millionaire. You just do not. And for the average man, they feel exactly the same way. So it's not that men want to come in there and start giving you cash for your life. They just don't need you to be rich to be happy. So that's number one. And I really don't know where that came from. But number two is many of you out there, you all believe that you've got to be the greatest, the most beautiful woman in the room, the most beautiful on the street, mirror, mirror on the wall, blah, 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 fairest one of them all. Well, no, No, you don't. You don't have to be a runway model. And the average guy doesn't want that anyway. What an average guy is looking for is a woman that he finds attractive. It doesn't matter what society says. It matters what he thinks. So if you are indeed a woman that he finds attractive, you're going to be just fine. All right. So you don't have to go and blow $900 on nails and $750 on hair and whatever you gals spend on these crazy things that most likely we're not going to pay attention to anyway. I mean, I learned, I guess, after, I don't know, 7 or 8 girlfriends, that you have to every single day. It's a stupid thing that we got to do. Shoes, nails, hair. If there's new shoes, you got to say, I love your shoes. I don't give a crap about your shoes. No man does, but we got to say it. Nails. I don't care what color your nails are. Look at mine. I've never painted my nails except for Halloween costumes. Right? Who cares about your nail? You do. And if we want to get laid as men, we have to look. Okay, nails. All right, same as yesterday. Don't have to compliment nails. And then hair. We love it when you tease your hair up, but I despise the idea that you're going to race out and blow a ton of money, 5 to 8 times the amount of money I spend on a haircut to get your hair done. And then you're going to stand there like this, waiting, thinking, what's the matter with her? Is she holding a golf ball in her ass? That's what men are going to think. But nope, you got to pay attention. Like, oh, she got her hair done. I love your hair. You look fantastic. It's an act. It's a game. But ladies, you don't have to do these things because we don't care. Hopefully that clears that up. Now, the whole thing of women believe that they have to be fixers. Right? This is point number 3. Fixers. You don't need to be auto mechanics. You don't need to be helicopter mechanics. You don't need to run power tool. This is not what men are looking for. I mean, if you can do it, that's a bonus, but it's not necessary. You don't have to be the ones to come in there and be able to fix absolutely everything that might be wrong with our apartments or yours, or our car or yours, or, Uncle John's boat or yours, or whoever's boat it is. We're not looking for women to fix our stuff. Men mostly are looking for a gal to spend time with him, who respects him, makes him feel good about himself, and of course is good in bed. I mean, that's men. But you don't need to be a fixer. So to recap the first 3, you don't got to be rich. You just don't. You don't need to blow a ton of money on these hair care products and these things at salons to get our attention. If we're attracted to you, you've already got it. And you don't need to fix anything of ours up, unless, of course, you really, really want to, and you've got the skill set to do so, in which case, have at her. But it's not what I put in my dating profile. I'm not looking for a fixer, looking for a partner. All right, there we go. Now, this other one, I think this is number 4. I think the feminists cooked this one up. I really don't think that the average lady out there ever decided for herself that this is what she wanted, or that men wanted in her. Physical strength. Like, why would I need to be involved with a woman who's stronger than I am? First off, it's not going to be possible. I'm an immensely strong guy. And there are a lot of guys out there, especially ones who are in construction or the trades for a living. They're incredibly strong guys. We don't need our women to be able to pick up 500 pounds or 9,000 pounds or even 190 pounds and carry it around. You just don't. And I get the fact, ladies, you're just not built for it, which is fine. We are. So you want something heavy moved, ask us. We'll do it. I don't think any man's dating profile out there says, in order for you to get some of this, you got to be able to lift more than me. You better be able to bench press more than me. That's never happened in the history of dating. I can't imagine it ever having happened. God, absolutely not. All right. And Brian's telling me if I want to pick up more chicks that I got to get a muscle shirt. We'll cover that when Melanie comes on. She'll be on in just a couple of minutes here. All right, Brian? So we'll see what the ladies have to say. Because, if we're talking about what women are attracted to, I'm not going to ask you. I'm going to ask the ladies out there. Number 5, hobbies. A lot of women out there believe that they have to have a ton of hobbies, or your hobbies have to match up or line up exactly with his hobbies. And that's not true. As men, we're happy that you have something that you like to do. That's something to occupy your time, because there are times that men, we just don't want to see you. And it's better that you have a hobby that you enjoy doing, So you can do that during those periods where we just don't want to see you. All right. So, and it's not that we don't love you. It's a matter of you just need a friggin' break sometimes. So if you've got a hobby, great. It does not have to match up with your man's hobby. And a man is not going to stop dating you because your hobby is not exactly what his is. I mean, like, what if the guy's like a model train builder? I don't know any women that like that stuff, right? Period. So you wouldn't have to build model trains or even like them to date me. I like them, but I really don't want them because they take up way too much room. Nonetheless, if you were to come to me saying that you are a fan of that, I mean, we're going to have just a little bit more in common, but it's not necessary at all. If you don't like football or hockey and he does, no one's saying that you have to go to the games. You don't have to watch the games. He's not going to hate you for it. He's not going to break up with you because you don't like football. If you want to spend time with him, grab a couple of beers and sit with him. You don't have to sit for the whole game. Give him 5 minutes of your time watching the game and just say, ooh, like, was that a field goal? Was that a touchdown? Maybe take an interest in the rules, but you don't have to, is my point. So a lot of you ladies sabotage yourselves in this dating and relationship game out there, believing that you know what's in our minds. And this is to clarify that you don't, but you will shortly. All right, here we go. Height. This one, wow, this one comes up all of the time. It's amazing, ladies, how when you just meet a guy, that all of you have already prejudged what you think he's looking at. If you are 5 feet tall and you're awesome, so what? It doesn't matter. No, the average, even a 6 foot tall guy is not going to look at a 5 foot tall woman he's attracted to and that he likes and say, yeah, too short, get lost. It's the women who say to men that you're too short, but it's not the guys that are saying that. And look, I have dated chicks that are over 6 feet tall. And yeah, it looks a little ridiculous, but it doesn't matter. It's palatable. At the time when I was dating them, the relationship was actually okay. So it's immaterial that she has 6 inches of height on me, and absolutely immaterial that she might be 6 inches shorter than me. Why do you ladies think that you know what we want? You don't. But now we're going to get some commentary because Melanie heard what I just said. Welcome back. Looking great as always.
Well, thanks.
All right. So you heard point number 5 there, Melanie, and I want to get your take on that. Why is it that women think, point number 6. Why is it that you women think that you know what we want and you haven't even asked us what we want? It's in your heads. I don't get it. Where does this crap come from? You're up.
Well, I think it comes from too much internet. If I'm being honest, stop reading trashy women's blogs. And I think it's wise to say, go to the source. Yeah, I can't even give you a better answer than that.
Yes. I mean, standing 5'6" myself, I would prefer my women to be shorter than me, not by much, but just a bit. But if some drop dead, gorgeous knockout that's got everything I ever wanted is 6'1", so be it.
You'd be like,
sorry, tall guys, I got her, you don't. Piss off. All right. So yeah, as men, we really don't look at that. It's not a deciding factor for us, but women think that it is, because I know that for women, it's a deciding factor.
That's what I was going to say. I think that's why they think it's important, because for us, sometimes height is important.
Yes, and I get asked that all the time. Women, when I talk to them on the phone, they love how well I speak on the phone. They love how entertaining I am on the phone. And then, oh, I forgot to ask. And they whisper it like this. How tall are you? I don't know why the volume has to change. And they're usually shocked at how quickly I answer. 5'6", done. Well, I'm not going to and ah about it. 5'6", 5'6", 5'6", 5.5", 5'6". All right. All right. Number 7, ladies, a lot of you women out there who are wanting to get in the dating game or getting back into it or whatnot, you honestly think that we men care about your social standing. You think that we care. We're men. We don't care. So it doesn't matter if you're not famous. It doesn't matter if you're not a politician. It doesn't matter that you have absolutely no political influence or societal influence out there. We don't care. It doesn't matter what point in your career that you're in. It doesn't matter to us if everybody respects you at work or not. It certainly doesn't matter um, what education level that you have that might be superior to everybody else. That's irrelevant.
Mhm.
Again, this is men we're talking about, ladies. So we don't care. What if you don't necessarily have to be drop dead gorgeous, but what if you are absolutely attractive? You share one hobby in common with me, and you're just really cool to be around, and the conversations are awesome. Who gives a crap about your social standing? I don't care what people think about me, and I'm a public figure, So, Melanie, your thoughts?
Well, that's good to know. I think a lot of people try really hard to sell themselves and almost embellish to the point where you can't maintain that. So yeah, it's nice to know that women can just be themselves and be accepted by guys for that. So I hope they're listening because I think that's good advice. Just
So it
chill
looks
out.
like Melanie just learned something, everybody. Yes, there we go. And gals, the reason I am saying this to you is because I've heard a lot of you out there talking about how difficult the dating game is. And it's difficult only because you've put these obstacles in your own way. You've put these ideas in your head, or feminists did, or Hollywood definitely did. And that crappy women's magazine Today, was that what it's called, last week? Obviously, you've seen what kind of trash is out there that they want to sell you for $5, which is full of lies. And if you're listening to it, it's impeding your capacity to meet that special someone. Period.
Yeah,
I
that's very possible. I will admit though that yeah, the dating scene is more quantity than quality at the moment. So you do have to sift through a little
oh
bit.
yeah, absolutely, it is. There's a lot of quantity out there, and when you flip through any of the dating things out there, there's just choices, choices, choices. It's like going to a restaurant that's got 95 things on the menu, right?
Yeah,
You just don't know what to do. And
95 mediocre things on the menu.
precisely, an excellent point. Okay, um, ladies, also out there, y'all think that men care about your past. That is a very big problem when you've got you thinking we care about your past. So we don't care that you stole cookies in grade 4. We don't care that you failed grade 6 accidentally. We don't care that perhaps you were an A student in grade 10. That stuff doesn't make a difference to us. So your general past, where you grew up, what you did, who your friends were, what church you went to, irrelevant. We don't care. Your fiscal past, Melanie, don't care. I mean, if I was dating anyone and they said, "Oh, I was rich in 1988, and then I was broke in 1995, and then I was rich in 2007, and now I'm kind of who cares? We're men. We don't care about this stuff at all. We don't care about the drinks you had at the bar when you were 18. If you had a bad family dynamic, we don't really care about that either, unless that family, and this is the unless that family is still influencing you negatively today, in which case we do, and in that point we'll make a decision. But your personal past doesn't matter. Where it does for men, and then Mel, you get the floor on this one, is we just we're concerned about the ghosts of all the men that you've slept with. So if you've got a high body count, if you're like these modern chicks under 30 who are bragging on podcasts of guys they don't even know, bragging, "Oh, I got a body count of 29." Like I don't want to be with a chick who's had 29 sexual partners prior to me. Not because I'm worried about disease, but because I am worried about the emotional wreck that she could possibly be with that. Because there's no way in hell that even half of those interactions were positive ones. In fact, I'm willing to bet that more than 7 out of 10 of those would have been horrible ones. So they would be shaping her psyche, and I would be made to pay for the mistakes of others. So that's what we call the ghosts of the prior sexual partners that we don't want to be a part of. You're up. What are your thoughts?
Okay, this one actually surprised me. I actually thought that some of that mattered to guys, and I'm sure a lot of women do. So again, it's refreshing to hear. Maybe we should Maybe we've got it all wrong. You're right. Women are writing relationship advice for women articles, and probably are. It's probably the same for guys. I don't know, because this is actually kind of surprising news to me. So it's refreshing.
Well, with men, this is where we differ as well, is that there are guys out there who are just pickup artists. They know exactly what to say and how to say it.
Mhm.
They know when to buy flowers, when not. They know when to hang up on the phone. Like, there are guys who just know this stuff.
Mhm.
So guys who don't know this stuff will go to men like that, and they'll have a small degree of success if they follow the advice properly. But does it matter to us? And does it matter to women that we've learned from a pickup artist? And on the flip side, does it matter to us that the woman that we just met was looking for advice on how to actually talk to men? Does that matter? No. In fact, I would actually see it as a positive, because if a woman was seeking out dating advice prior to meeting me, it means she actually cares. She cares about making the right presentation and cares about the fact that she doesn't want to chase potential candidates away. That's someone that I admire because it's self improvement. So men will look at women who actually do correctional behaviors in life. We will look with that with reverence and full respect. That's something else that women need to understand. We respect you when you self improve. Go ahead.
Mhm. Okay. Well, that's good to know as well. I feel like I feel like there's like stigmas on some of this stuff, and a lot of your points there was stigmas on, and I think that we were almost programmed and conditioned, and maybe even brought up thinking that some of these things matter, and now learning that they actually in fact don't. And I'm sure that there are women listening to this that wish they knew this 10 or 15 years ago.
Well, I wish I knew this 10 or 15 years ago, because I would have
Right.
started this show up back when YouTube was in its heyday. Yeah.
Right.
Right? I'd probably be on a private island at this particular point. But these are things that we have to learn in time. And as well, I now have two kids in their 20s, and they're always bugging me for advice, which is fine. I love giving it to them. I tell them everything that I know based on the mistakes I made. And
Right.
believe me, when I was young, I made a boatload of mistakes in the dating game. I mean, I could probably write a full book on exactly what not to do as men.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. So, gals, um, a lot of you think that your living situation is something that we men care about. You honestly
Mhm.
think that we care. All right.
Mhm.
So, now I'm talking about the majority of men. I'm not talking about the upper elite, you know, ultra rich guys. We're not talking about the billionaires. We're talking about average dudes who work a job, have a place. They're looking for love like you are. All right. We don't care. So if you live with your sister, so what? If you live with your sister and your cousin and your dog, so what?
Mhm.
Let's just say you're 30 and you had to move back home with your folks because you ran into some financial difficulty. So what? As men, we're going to look at your living situation as temporary, because for men, like the ones who aren't just players who want to get laid, but as men looking for solid relationships, we will see your living situation as a temporary thing. Because as soon as a man sees you in his future, if he's looking 2 years down the road and you're in it, your living situation will be with him anyway. And that's how we as men are going to see this whole thing. And you'll be amazed at how quickly men actually do draw that conclusion if they decide this is the gal for them. So your living situation is irrelevant. And so many of you lie. You say, "Oh, this is my house and I moved my parents in because they're not doing well." Now, if I'm a suspicious kind of guy, I can just pull the records at the properties branch in the province and find out who owns the house. And then I know you've lied to me. Not that I'm going to do that. I'm just saying that I could. I've got that freedom and right to do so. you know, so don't lie about your living situation. If you're living with your sister and your cousin and your dog, the truth is probably this: the rent is split 3 ways. That's probably the truth. I mean, whenever I had roommates, it was the rent was split. Couldn't afford the place on my own, so you share it. What's embarrassing about that, Mel? Like, any idea?
Oh boy. Well, I think that sometimes women feel like it would come across as if they didn't have all their ducks in a row, or if they weren't able to support themselves. And nowadays there is it's the feminist movement, though. It comes from the feminist movement, and it's trying to ingrain into women this concept that we need to contribute equally and we need to keep up with the men. And it's nice to hear that that's not the case, because I think some women set that standard on themselves because of that.
Well, they will set that standard, but
Now,
again,
is
you're
it
right.
shallow? Is it shallow that that matters to women? Because I think genuinely that matters to women. We don't want to hear that some guy's living in his parents' basement, for example.
Oh, I know the exact opposite is true.
Okay.
Women do care. I mean, you meet a
Yeah.
guy who's 34 and he's living with his parents. I'm pretty sure the average chick is going to take off, and that's it. It's over. He's not getting a second date. I'm
Yeah.
sure of it. So as men, regrettably, we have to compete with a lot. First off, ourselves, then every other man for the same job, then every other man for the same woman. And when we're competing with other men, we are competing in an arena which, especially in this economy, is the most impossible one to compete in. And that is having a bigger and better place. When before I got married, I was actually able to pay cash for my house, but that's only because I had a job in the United States that paid six figures. So bringing ladies over to my house, even though there was no furniture in it, I put all my cash down, bought the house. It had a desk, a chair, a bed, and a crappy couch. It didn't matter. It was to women very impressive that I had a house with a 2-car garage and a 60-foot by 60-foot backyard and parking for 6 cars. Like, that was impressive to them. I mean, the house was a piece of crap. It really was. I had so much work to do on that place, but it didn't matter. They're impressed. He has his own house. Yeah. So it's kind of unfair and it's kind of imbalanced, but that's life. And I'm not going to say that I can do anything about it. Period. All right. Now, this one here. This one, ladies, you're a little correct on it and you're a little wrong on it. So let's cover this. A lot of women think that a man cares implicitly how far away you live. Not as relevant as you think. There are guys out there, if you make him feel great about himself, they'll drive 3 hours to come see you. They will. They'll do it. They may not like the trip. They may not like the journey, but if they are guys who enjoy alone time, well, then they get that 3 hours of alone time and then 3 hours home. They will do that. Most likely, though, they'll probably make an arrangement with you in advance to crash for a day or two to make that 3-hour drive worthwhile. But they'll travel the distance. Now, ladies, I'd say it's 50-50. There are men out there that hate driving anything more than 20 Ks. They just hate it. Nothing you can do about that facet, but there's a 50-50 chance you're going to find a guy who will drive that distance for you. Truly. Melanie, you're up. Your thoughts.
I would agree that, yeah, if he's willing to make the drive, and I think that goes both ways, that means that the relationship is obviously deemed worthy of investing time and energy into. So that's good to know. I did date someone once who wouldn't even drive from southeast Edmonton to Sherwood Park. We had to meet. We only lasted 2 dates because I was like, this is not going to work.
How far a distance is that?
It's like 30 minutes, 25 minutes. Yeah.
Well, Edmonton it's a big town, like land-wise. It truly is spread out. And I'm starting to think that these left-wing millennials out there, they've got it easy, because I think a lot of them move into the downtown cores of cities. So they're all walking and or taking transit wherever they are going. I don't think they're having that particular issue. And so many of them don't drive. And this is the one thing that I would say is that for millennial dating, if you don't own a car and he doesn't own a car, you're definitely going to have to be inside the same city with access to public transit or access to Uber rides that are less than $50. So there we go. Hopefully, ladies, that clears a few things up for you. Yeah. Stop putting ideas in your own head. Stop watching Hollywood movies because they're mind rot. They're bad for you. Don't read women's magazines and don't go to women for advice about men. All right. Before we move on to our next segment here, any concluding remarks on that?
Well, I think if we've learned anything, that us women have learned to be ourselves, be genuine, be honest, and stop worrying so much. Stop over analyzing.
Oh yeah, please stop doing that. Very annoying. It's very, very, very irritating as men. And I'm gonna tell you the truth here. You take a gal out, you have a great night, it was a wonderful time, and then 2 days later she regrets it, saying that the parking was a bit too much, and I don't think you should have spent $44 on that steak. I mean, where do these negative ideas come in 2 days later? Like as soon as the guy hits the sack, that's it. He's never going to think about that meal again until it comes out the next day. But he's not thinking about it in any particular way other than I got to get this done and get out of here. Right. So I don't know why women self-sabotage their positive outlooks on things a couple of days after the good event took place. Please help me out here.
Well, I don't know if all women do it, but I guess, yeah, that's probably more common than not. I don't know if it's the whole replaying of something over in your mind and thinking on ways you could have made it better, but I don't know why we do that because you can't really change it. So let's try to be more like guys and just go to bed and leave it.
Yeah, there you go. Leave it be. If you had a good time, that's it. It's a good time. Believe me, he's not thinking about it afterwards. There is one thing that men do love, though, ladies. If he's showing you a good time, he's not doing it for thank yous. But if you turn around and say thank you, and he says, for what? Tell him for what? Detail it.
Okay.
Thank you. For what? That's how I'll look at it. What did I do that I'm getting thanked for? Thank you for dinner. Thank you for the ride. Thank you for the walk on the beach. I had a lovely night.
All right.
That's it. But be articulate. Don't say thank you and then leave the room. Is she talking to me or is she on the phone? Right? That's how we're going to see it. Articulate. Look them in the eye and articulate. Perfect. So if you all remember, everybody, last week we heard awful first date questions. They were horrible. God. And I mean it. If some woman had asked me those questions on a first date, I would have just been polite and said, look, this ain't working for me. I got to go. All right. And I would pay the bill and I would politely leave. I would say, thank you. I wouldn't be rude about it, but that's not the type of crap that I want to talk about. I am a man. I am not a woman. You cannot talk to me as if I am a woman. You will fail miserably. If you're failing with your man or men in general, it's because you're talking to them like they are women and they are not. And their brains are never going to change for it. They're never going to get it. They don't speak hint. We can't do it. All right. It's not, Mel, it's just not possible.
Okay.
All right. So here's first date questions that I wrote. That'll work incredibly well. And the order is important here. I've separated them by kind of a genre. All right. And you'll find out why in a second. So after you guys sit down at the table and the waiter's giving you your butter for bread that's not there yet and filled your glass and taking your drink order, now it's time to start talking. Ladies, if he's a big mouth like me, he'll initiate the conversation, roll with it. But if he's not a big mouth like me, somewhat introverted or beta cucky or whatever we call it, here we go. Mel, here's your first one. Ready? And I want you to repeat this. Are you a sports guy? Smile. Go on. Let's hear you say it.
Okay. Are you a sports guy?
You're damn right I am. Hockey, soccer, lacrosse, boxing, rock climb. Which one's your favorite? Boom. You see that? I just asked you a question in return. Okay. Yeah. But if I say yes, and I'm slow or dim-witted or shy, and I stop after say, yes, your next question would be, what is your favorite sport? Because that can lead to a whole bunch of things. Go on. Ask me, what's my favorite sport?
What's your favorite sport?
Hands down, hockey. Hockey. You know why? because it's not just a sport. First off, it's something that you can die playing. But secondly, it's also like a chess match. It's a war. Let me tell you about the time I was coaching back in 1997. Boom. You're going to get a story out of it, right? You weren't expecting a story out of it, but two simple questions potentially have now led to 5 to 10 minutes of conversation because you're making the conversation about him. And once a guy catches himself speaking too much, he will stop and say, I'm sorry, I've been talking too long. Tell me something about your mom. He'll throw something at you. Get him talking. All right. So now that we've determined that hockey's my favorite sport, your next question, Mel. Did you play it as a kid?
Did you play it as a kid?
I did. My old man put me on skates when I was 3, and I scored my first goal when I was 5. I've been playing the game ever since, except recently because men have become weak, and when you body check them, they cry. Story. There you go. You see, you're laughing. You're laughing on our first date. Check it out. All right. There you go. Your next question. Do you play it now? Go on.
Yeah. Do you play it now?
No, I don't. I gave up playing hockey because it's $1,200 for a season, and you only get to skate 2 or 3 shifts per period. And some idiot on your team gets a penalty. Guess what happens? I got to sit and wait for him to get out of the box before I go on the ice. No. I'll go jogging instead. It's a better workout. There you go. And you're kind of smiling, so we're bantering. All of a sudden, because you've ignored the women's magazine, the date is a little more successful. All right. Now, let's imagine there's a sport or physical activity you like. Do you like, brackets, insert sport or event here? Now go on. Now it's your turn.
Do you like golf?
I do like golf. And do you know why I like golf? It's the most retarded thing on the planet. You're playing this game on a patch of land where you could put a neighborhood that would house 2.5 million people, perhaps more, and you load it up with chemicals so that some idiot can smash a ball that big with a stick, lose it, find it, and instead of going home, smash it again. But I'm addicted to it. I love it. It's dumb, but I can't help myself. Do you want to play? You're laughing all of a sudden. So now we've got some banter going here. All right. Now, what you could do at this point, Melanie, is you can try to draw the conversation from golf into something that interests you that still has a bit of physicality to it. You're up.
Oh,
don't you dare say Oh, no, don't you do that.
Well, you kind of caught me off guard here. I got to think about it. Let's see. What about, have you ever tried something like luge or bobsledding?
I have tried bobsledding once. It cost me $55 to go down the bobsled run, and I almost crapped my pants. It was totally worth it.
Because that's something I've always wanted to try, and I always thought that I'd probably crap my pants too. But
when you enter the turns, as soon as the bobsled enters the turns, the G-forces go from 0 to 5. It's unbelievable. Your teeth sink into your chest. Again, worth every penny. We should go sometime. We should go sometime. Ta-da!
Yeah.
Right? Now we're planning a second date, and then we're only 5 minutes in. So, ladies, like I said, advice: take it from men, specifically me. All right, next. All right, so we've gotten through that, and there's probably been some sipping, like this, and there might have been some spreading of bread and ripping it apart, and there might have been a couple of callings of the waiter over. So this little bit here, which is one question with 3 sub-questions, followed by a second kind of question with subcategory below that. You've already burned up like 10, 15 minutes. Just like that. And that's nothing. We're not into the deep stuff yet, and we're getting there. So this is our mock date, everybody. Melanie's too hot for me, and she's got some guy on the side, so don't worry about it. We're not actually dating here, but we're going through this for you. All right. Let's see here. Next one. So are you a movies guy? Let me hear it.
So are you a movies guy?
Absolutely. More so than I should be. Do you know, I used to write movie reviews for not one, but two different magazines. I've seen more movies than I should have. And as much as I love modern sci-fi stuff, I still love the 80s. The 80s were the best time for movies. All right. Now, as I'm speaking, you got to hit me with what's your favorite movie or what's your favorite genre. You've got to hit me when I'm in the middle of that sentence. Go.
Okay. Yeah, I was already thinking that actually. So, what's your favorite movie?
Dark City. Because I didn't know what was going on. It made no sense. And when it finally was presented to me, I went, oh, cool. And Rufus Sewell, with that crazy lazy eye that he's got, he's ugly as hell, but I can't help myself. I got to look at him. I got to look at him when he's acting. You know, he's a good actor, just weird looking. Great movie. We should watch it sometime.
We should.
There we
I
are.
was just gonna say that.
Excellent. So don't let him get away with favorite movie unless he has asked you what your favorite movie is. Or if he does not ask, volunteer it immediately. So let's pretend I did not ask you what yours is. Go ahead, volunteer.
Well, this might sound cheesy, but my favorite movie is Gone with the Wind.
Do you know, I have heard that title 500,000 times. I know the line, I don't give a damn, but I've never seen it. Not once. Boom. That's
Well,
your invitation. That's your invitation to invite me to watch it.
Yeah.
Right there.
Right. Yeah, I was just thinking that.
There we are. Boom. See, ladies, look how far we're getting. All right. It's amazing, isn't it? Stop reading magazines.
We've already planned 2 more dates from all this. Look at that.
Check it out. Oh, is your new boyfriend going to mind? Okay. So you could also, because any subject matter can have a genre. Music can have a genre. Art can have a genre. Movies can have a genre. Books. There's a genre for everything, even cars. So if you didn't think that you got far enough with the what's your favorite movie, you could talk about what's your favorite genre. You could throw that in there. And if he says horror, ask him why. And then ask him what his favorite horror movie was. If he says sci-fi, ask him, well, yeah, why is that? Right? But smile. Never accuse. Never have a deadpan face. Oh, yeah, why is that? Eyebrows. Got to be up. And that can move on. Oh, and Liz, I see your questions there. And believe me, I'm getting to that. Okay. I am. So now we've done sports and movies, completely, totally irrelevant crap that no human being cares about, but we're laughing and we've booked 2 more dates already. Not bad. All right. Not bad. Okay. Kaboom. When that comes to an end, this is your cue. Do you have a beverage with you? Oh, you do. Well, take a sip. Yeah, there, take a sip. Go on. There you are. Take a sip. As you're putting it down, lean forward. What's your favorite band? Go on.
Oh, it's my favorite band.
No. You asked me that.
Oh, I've got to ask. Okay,
as you're putting the cup down. So, what's your favorite band? Ready?
Your favorite band?
Go on. In order. Sip.
Okay.
So what's your favorite band? You hear that? It's down.
So, what's your favorite band?
Oh, God. Hands down, 9 Inch Nails. Oh, man. He puts on a show. You want to talk about a guy with emotional issues? I think the only one more screwed up than him is Eminem. But 9 Inch Nails threw the best concert that I had ever been to up to about age 21. Everything this guy says is coming out of his soul. There's something wrong with Trent Reznor's soul, but there's not a single song he's written that I don't like. Have you listened to his album? His first one, maybe his second one, right?
No.
Are you familiar with his work?
Slightly.
Oh, okay. So then what I would do at that point, because everyone's got these stupid things, is I would almost instantaneously run over and grab that song Head Like a Hole, but I can't play it here because we'll get a copyright strike.
Right.
So I would play it for you and I would put it up like that and ask you familiar with it? All right. Guess what I'm going to say? If I'm a smart guy, we should listen to that album together. And I'm going to tell you everything I know about each song. What do you say?
That sounds cool.
We just booked a 3rd date.
Yeah.
Right. And again, these are asinine questions, irrelevant to life, but we're having so much fun. Isn't this great, guys and girls? All right. So after all that's done, if I don't ask what your favorite band is, volunteer it. What's
Right.
it? Go and let me. You're learning here. What do you got?
Mhm. Well, my favorite band, e- even though you didn't ask, is the Eagles. I just love their harmonies.
Don't you dare say, even though you didn't ask. Don't you ever say
I
that.
know.
Oh my God, don't say that.
Or you could follow that up with something like, "What do you think of the Eagles?" They happen to be one of my favorites.
Oh, classic rock, absolutely. Do you know, I was actually at the Eagles concert in New York City when they decided to get back together.
Nice.
Yeah, and Don Henley came out and said, for the record, we didn't break up. We just took a really long vacation. Yeah. And now, if I'm a smart guy, I'm going to say, well, what's your favorite Eagles song?
Oh, that's a yeah, good question. Boy, I'm gonna say Hotel California.
And at that point, what should you do?
What should I
You
do?
should ask
What's
me what
yours?
my favorite Eagles song is.
I was just getting there. What's your favorite Eagle song?
Get over it. I love that one. You know why? It's hard hitting, and I love that one line. I'm going to find your inner child and kick its little ass. What an amazing line. It's all about grow up and be an adult. What a hard hitting, awesome tune that is. Just the best. Truly. All
Mhm.
right. We've gotten through movies, we've gotten through sports. Now we're through music. And what does music best go in? It goes into a car. Are you a cars
Mm.
guy?
Okay. Are you a Cars guy?
Oh, hell yes, I am. Oh, yeah, I am. I'll tell you this. I've got a hankering to own a 1974 Barracuda one day, and I would like to load the thing up with at least 1,200 watts of stereo power. We'll play the Eagles together in that car. You'll join me for a cruise in California, right? Mm.
Yep, sure would.
All right. So at that point, you would ask if he doesn't already volunteer.
Mhm.
You could say, what is your dream car? Or I mentioned a car here. You could then say, is that your dream car? You could
Okay.
pick one.
All right. Is that your dream car?
Close. It almost is. It's a very close second to the Roadrunner. I really want a 71 Roadrunner. Have you ever seen those things? God, they're artwork on wheels is what they are. All right. Now we're like getting our emotions into this, right? Because you're talking to a guy about everything he wants to talk about. Now he's happy. Look how happy I am. After the car stuff, and this is a cool one, and this was only ever asked of me once, and I thought it was just so freaking awesome. What does your dream house have in it? But
Oh,
say it seductively. You're a woman. You can do it.
okay. What does your dream house have in it?
Ooh, man, it's got a hot tub in the master bedroom. It's got a bearskin rug beside it. It's also got a fireplace on every floor. Has to have a 4-car garage. I mean, it must, right? I'm thinking probably hockey rink in the backyard. It's got to back onto a river or a lake or the ocean. Water. I like water. So at that, I'm also thinking maybe if that's going to be the case, I got to buy a boathouse too and a boat. But yeah, all of the above. For me, I'd love a 5,000 square foot place with a man cave like you wouldn't believe. Possibly even a sit down theater. Yeah. But bearskin rug in the bedroom. Yeah. Share something about what you like. That's what you got to do, but you got to find a way to really sneak
Mhm.
it in there. As soon as he's done, sneak it in.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so sneak it in. What do you want to ask me? About
Um,
houses. Well, we're talking about dream houses here.
okay. Well, I particularly would go for the ocean view over the river or lake view.
Oh, why is that?
The ocean always calls to me.
What does that mean? I've heard that slogan before.
Yeah, I think it just means that I'd rather be close to the ocean. I feel there's like a connected, it resonates with me. And I think that I would really like to spend almost all of my days in flip-flops and not closed-toed shoes.
Hmm. So if I win the lottery, there's no way in hell I could talk you into a riverfront property, but I should just come right out and buy you an oceanfront one. Is that what you're saying? Because I forgot to buy my lottery ticket earlier today. Okay, good. So we're laughing. We're talking about it's fantasy asinine caca, but it's there. All right. Now, this particular point, these are base questions that only need to be asked if you didn't get anywhere with the first batch. These are what we call the throwaway questions. All right. We did pretty good there. And if this was a real date, we'd probably have burned up half an hour to 45 minutes with this stuff. But if you're not getting anywhere and the guy's a little introverted, almost every introverted guy out there likes Star Wars. So are you a Star Wars guy? Hit him with that.
Okay.
Why not? Another one, ladies, you can hit him with. Did you collect comics as a kid? You know, why not? But if you're going to ask these things, ladies, you should know a bit about the subject matter. So I don't know. I mean, I know that men, as soon as Star Wars or Star Trek or any of the sequels come out to anything, we're there. Like, you know, first day. I don't know if women view that type of sci-fi genre in the same way that men do. So if you don't know who Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader is, then don't ask. But if you do, ask. And as for comic books, if you're going to ask about the geek stuff from when we were kids, that's no problem. You should know at least 5 titles and know the lore behind them. Everyone knows Spider-Man, so that one doesn't count. Right? Oh, wait. We got ladies here. Gwen loves Star Wars. Thank you, Gwen. That's good to know. So any guys out there looking for a date, Gwen likes Star Wars. Excellent. When the next batch of movies come out, that'll probably suck. You can take her there. All right. Okay, good. I just realized the Rumble room has lit up here. So we're just going to look for questions here very quickly. Okay. I'm just looking at the questions. Some people are so personable. I used to watch my old friend work the room like a champ. Yes. There are some people who are just born that way. They can walk into a room and they can own it. Now, and for some it's natural and for some it's learned. I had to learn it. Didn't come naturally at the beginning of things. So yes, a person like that has the advantage, but it doesn't change the fact that if you do want to change your stars and get out there, you can. If you have trouble speaking publicly or speaking to people, Toastmasters, they're good. It's a free group. You just get together and you practice public speaking with other people who also have trouble public speaking. There's all kinds of ways you can fix yourselves up. All right. Playing sports is good. Watching strangers play sports is stupid and a waste of time, a distraction to fill up your time so we can never see what's really going on in the world. Well, I do not disagree with that. But if you get lucky, guys, and she loves hockey as much as you do, I'm pretty sure a hockey game is a good date. Follow-up date, not first date. Follow-up date. All right. So, other things. You could be specific. Did you collect Transformers or, insert whatever, G.I. Joe? Pick one. Pick a toy collection. These are the throwaways that you ask if you've gotten nowhere. Period. So then, if the conversation has not turned away from this fluff to something real, you can still add more fluff to keep it going until something real presents itself and the conversation takes on a life of its own. Flirty stuff. Sue, do you prefer skydiving or would you rather rent a Ferrari and go driving around a track at high speed? Okay. Go on.
Wow. I'm going to say.
No. You ask me that.
Oh, you want me to ask
This
you?
is for women to ask us. No, you're not
Oh,
getting
okay.
up tonight.
Gotcha. Okay. I
Right.
keep forgetting. All right. What if you had to choose? What would you choose? Skydiving or a racetrack with a Ferrari?
Since I've raced cars before, not very well, but I have done it, I'm going to have to go with skydiving. Because roller coasters just aren't the thrill they used to be. I know they're taller, but they're not thrillier. I'm in the mood for a thrill. I'll take skydiving for 100 points. All right.
Okay.
Beautiful. Next one. Again, flirty. And you don't even have to say, would you rather? You just say,
Mm-hmm.
so cottage on the mountain or a beach house with a rooftop bar? Ah,
So, cottage on the mountain or beach house with a rooftop bar?
love the mountains, but you said you love the ocean. And if we're going to be watching movies together and listening to some tunes together, maybe I should just settle for the rooftop bar, the beach house.
Excellent.
I'm going to go with beach house.
Good choice. Good
All
choice.
right. There you go. It's called flirting. You're being flirty. He's flirting back. Picnic table on a blanket in a park or on the roof of a 1970s station wagon. See, now we're getting silly, but it's funny.
I'm almost afraid to ask that one. Okay, picnic table on the ground in the park or on the rooftop of a station wagon?
You should probably clarify. We should have both clarified that it's food. We're talking
Oh,
about eating food.
okay.
I didn't say sex. I said food. Maybe we'll. Yeah. Would you
yeah.
rather have a picnic on a blanket in
Okay.
the park or on the roof of a 70 station wagon?
Yes. Yeah, let's clarify that. This is a first date. So yeah.
Yes, it is a first date. That's right. We're not talking about kids yet. All right.
Right.
Well, I'm going to go with 70 station wagon because all those cars back then, not only could you sit on them and not dent them, but you and your friends, the neighborhood dog, and the elephant that escaped from the zoo could all sit on the same car and everything was copacetic. I mean, we still got spanked for it as kids, but I'm going to do it for the nostalgia purposes. I'll take the station wagon.
Like it.
All right. Now, do you have a story about a station wagon that you can share? Because now's
I
your
do
time.
not. I don't.
You
No.
don't.
I have very little station wagon experience in any way. So
That's a shame, isn't it?
I know, right?
All right. Then you've got to have minivan experience. I don't know, a trip that didn't go right. A guy that you kicked in the nuts because he was being a jerk. I mean, there's got to be something that you can add to that. You can't just ask and then stop. You got to roll with it. So there has to be some anecdotal tale that you can add to after picnic on a roof.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, this is where I'm asking the ladies now to be a little more creative and a little more themselves. There's nothing wrong with being yourself and having fun because we're already laughing on this date.
That's true. Well, even though I didn't ever really have the station wagon experience, we used to go on a regular basis and have little picnics in the very back. As kids, we'd sit in the back of my dad's Suburban, and he'd open the window. We'd just sit in the back and put a blanket down there and eat. So we thought that was great fun.
And let me guess, no seatbelts, right?
No seatbelts. Nope. And we all lived.
We survived it all. I used to sleep in my uncle's station wagon. He'd roll the big window down and never once considered the fact that we could get rear-ended. We just did that stuff as kids.
Yeah. Yeah. And we lived to tell about it.
I remember sleeping on the back dashboard of my mother's Chevy Impala, sleeping all the way to Sudbury, 3-hour drive.
I love it. Yeah.
Okay. Now this is one. This is where you're getting a little risque, but not terribly. Like this is not a sex thing at all. This is just you being a little risque. So, and you gotta flirt. You gotta do it. You gotta lean in. Hot tub or sauna? What's your preference?
All right. Okay.
No, come on, flirt. Let's see it. What do you got? Oh, not bad. Not bad.
Hot tub or sauna? What's your preference?
Hot tub or sauna for what? A boxing match or just to relax in?
Just to relax.
In the wintertime, sauna. In the summer, hot tub. And I know I'm backwards on that, but man, nothing better than a sauna in the wintertime. Then you got to add to that. You either have a sauna story that's funny or a hot tub story that's funny, or you'll ask, do you know where we can hit the sauna? You could ask something like that if you're comfortable enough with this date to ask that. So you always got to keep rolling with these anecdotal questions are designed to keep you flowing in some way. All right. Perfect. Water skiing or snowboarding? Go on. Oh, and this is an action thing. So with men, the body language is going to become important. This or whatever would be for hot tubs. But for action stuff, It's you're perking up. You're letting me know this is something that you're considering. Go ahead.
So water skiing or snowboarding?
Oh man, you love the ocean, so we're gonna go water skiing. You'll join me for that, right?
Yeah, there is a chance. Yes.
Excellent, excellent. So now you got a guy who's listening to you. He's listening to you, right? In this particular instance here, all
Very
right?
important. Yeah.
Extremely important. And the rapport can be built with this type of anecdotal stuff. Ladies, these questions are silly. We know, but we're men. Cater to you, the audience that you're wanting to be a part of.
Yeah.
All right. The same idea. Look, when I go to a mosque, I take off my shoes. When I go to a gurdwara, I take off my shoes and cover my head. When I go to church, if it's Catholic, I dunk and I give the sign of the cross. You know, if I'm going to Hindu temple, again, I take off my shoes and I say namaste to everybody. It's a matter of you must accommodate those that you want to be a part of. And it's the same thing with men. You want to be around men, you know, don't talk like a chick. Ask questions like a chick that a guy would care about. So be feminine, be a woman, be gorgeous, but don't ask questions talk about crap that no man would care about. Let me give you an example. Ahem. So my friend Sue, her sister's boyfriend's kind of a jerk, but also my friend's other cousin, you know, Salima, her roommate's uncle's brother isn't really good to his girlfriend. All right. So you got to write this crap down. I'm thinking, wait, hold on. Let me get a pen here. Sorry, Selena? Who's she? So you got to draw a family tree when these stupid stories come up. Ladies, never talk about your friends in the first 10 dates. Just don't do it. We don't care. We're not interested. We're dating you, not them. And we don't want to know what the connections are unless the story is damn funny. If it's really funny, like my first cousin Jay decided he was going to drive a nail into a 2x4 barefoot. I told him 4 times, dude, put some shoes on. What does Jay do? Lifts the hammer, hits me in the head with it, and then smashes his big toe and breaks it in 2 places. What a moron. I don't hang around this guy anymore. So that's a funny story, or at least entertaining. But I'm not going to talk about the fact that my cousin Jay, he has a girlfriend that doesn't quite understand him, and like she's not really nice to him. And what do you care? You don't know Jay, and you don't know her. And after I tell that story, you're not going to ever want to know them. And it's the same thing with women telling us these stupid tales about their friends. I don't care. And now that I've heard about these people, don't ever friggin' introduce them to me. I don't want to meet them. All right. So after the fluff is done, all right, and I've got more fluff stuff here, but I don't want to burn up the whole night on just fluff. Now, if you've got a bit of a rapport going here, gals, and you've asked these questions that men care about, you can get into the more serious stuff. So where'd you go to school? All right, you can start with that. And if he comes back with, oh, do you mean elementary, high school, or college? You know what you do? Get him talking. All 3. That's the next thing, Mel. So you, as women, need to ask these questions after the fluff is done, because ladies, and I'm being dead honest with you here, at this point, once the fluff is done, there still has to be substance. And if this guy has no substance, then make it a one and only time. You can get to the substance after you've had some fun. The smiling is going on. And please, ladies, I really want to say this. Don't get smashed on friggin' wine. Like how many dates I've been on, Melanie, where chicks are just sloshed halfway through the night? You know what a turn off that is? The second that the two of you are laughing about anything together, you don't need liquor. You don't. So avoid it and keep the fun stuff going. Melanie, here's one that you can ask, kind of flirtatious, kind of not. What's the worst job you ever had in the past? Go on.
What is the worst job you've ever had in the past?
Oh my God. Oh, 1995. I worked for a car dealership called Hearn Pontiac. The owner was a cheap son of a bee, and the manager that he put in charge of my department, his bonus was based on how little money he spent to run the entire department. So there was 32 of us on payroll under his care, and he wouldn't do anything. He wouldn't fill the vending machine. He wouldn't get a styrofoam cups for the coffee machine. He wouldn't even buy coffee. This guy was so cheap that half the team quit on the same day. The job sucked. But while working that job, I'll tell you this, I managed to irritate the crap out of the guy. And once I figured out what his thumb screw was, I irritated him every single day until I'd had enough of him being irritated and me being irritated. So I just moved on and found a better job. But that place was called Hearn Pontiac. If you ever wanted to buy a car and you somehow find a way to travel back to 1996, 95, 96, whatever it is, just avoid the place at all costs. I beg you. Right. Now, here's your lead in. You can ask more questions about the job, or you can immediately tell me what your worst job was.
All right.
Okay. And yes, Liz, we're asking a negative question here because the next question is obviously, what was the best job you ever had? All right. There you go. All right. We're going to bring it down a bit to be a bit more real. We got to be real because not everything's going to be flowers and spice. There's going to be crap. You're dealing with other human beings. Relationships suck at times. So let's get some of the negative out of the way, but we're going to go right back to positive. So Mel, let's go back to it. You heard me tell a story about my worst job. You got to tell me about your worst job while we're still in that vein. Go ahead.
All right. Let me tell you about my worst job.
Oh yeah,
I was
go ahead.
17 years old and worked and I lasted for over a year at this job, worked at a poultry farm, and I was the gizzard girl. So I spent pretty much 8 hours a day.
What is a gizzard girl?
Pulling the gizzards out of the insides of the chickens.
Oh, those
as they
things.
came by on the assembly line. That was my job.
So literally the gizzard girl, not some
Yeah.
slang term.
Nope.
Good. We're both laughing and now we're talking.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that story could go on for a while.
Well,
Okay.
Not too long.
No, not too long because it is a bit of a negative subject, but it does the lead in to immediately have you say, what was your best job?
Mm-hmm.
And there we
What
are.
was your best job?
Oh man, my best job ever, hands down, Hewlett Packard. I got the job in 1996. It lasted 4 years. This company flew me everywhere. The job paid 6 figures, for God's sakes. It was probably, they should have paid me about 80, but they paid me almost 110. I love that job. And then I would probably go on myself for 4 or 5 minutes talking about how amazing this job is. I'm not going to do it now because, it's a job, but we're talking back and forth. Now, while this is happening, while the guy at the table is telling you about his best job, you got to sneak a question or two in there. You got to find something interesting. Now, I would suggest you're basing your question on something that he said, immediately interrupt, say, oh, really? Ask your question. Oh, really? Hand up. Ask your question because you want him talking. You want him talking. Now, if he's a smart guy, he asks you. So tell me about your best job. If he's not a smart guy, or maybe just shy, like we said, you volunteer. Volunteer. Ladies, be this much aggressive. Don't be feminist. Don't be that much aggressive, but just be that much aggressive. And don't let him.
Assertive.
Thank you. Assertive is good. Don't let him get away with being silent immediately following his statement. Or, sorry, don't let the table be silent. You have to take over and tell me about your best job. And there we are. I'm just going to check the chat rooms here quickly because they're both lighting up here. Yeah. Okay. So people do not agree with me on the sauna. There are folks here that prefer hot tubs. All right. And I see some banter about football here, which is great, but we're not going to talk about the CFL guys. Not tonight anyway. All right. And Lisa Leto is talking about, Lisa says, hey guys, I hope the guys in the chat room are paying attention. Lisa says she must be crazy to leave the chat room with all these great guys in the room. Oh. So guys, don't be idiots, man. Now it's your time. Talk to Lisa. Talk to her. Right? She opened the door for you, you idiots. Talk to her. All right? There you go. Keep the conversation going. Communication is absolutely key in this game.
Yeah.
So this
Don't
is
leave
my
her
list.
hanging.
Yeah, my list is now concluded. And if the gals out there want me to do so, I will put this list on my website tomorrow for you and give you just a little bit more to work with in the dating
Mhm.
game.
Okay, I
Now,
have a question for
yes.
you.
Yeah. Go, go,
Um,
go.
pertaining to your questions. Now, would it come across as insincere for a girl to ask about something like cars if she has very little knowledge or interest in them herself?
Well, not if it's being done in a fashion that lights up the table with conversation. No.
Okay.
You don't have to be a Transformers guy to ask if he likes Transformers. It could just be that you want to hear what a man's perspective might be on this crazy franchise that had 40 different comic book series and like 20 cartoons and what, 9 movies now. And so you don't have to know it all. Know a little bit about these things, just a bit.
Okay.
I don't know a single woman out there, not one, who's ever said, I'm not going to date this guy because he has a car. I know that women like a guy that's got a car or a truck or something. So you would have an interest in cars from the standpoint of, do I have one? All right. So no, it's not insincere at all.
Okay.
We were talking about cars and having a good time. You probably also don't care about socks. He might come to you one day and tell you a great story about this amazing pair of socks that absorbs sweat and his feet don't smell. I mean, it's gross. And you probably have nothing to add to that. But if you're looking at him and saying, oh, where'd you get him? That's it. That's what, like, one question. Now you're interested in him. Where'd you get him? Oh, great. How much? No. Okay. Wonderful. Oh, I'm happy for you. Good. And then you can joke if you wish. That means I don't have to go to the dollar store and get baby powder. There's nothing wrong with adding just that little bit more to it. But with men, we don't care about your knowledge on the subject. We just care that you're actually interested in
Good.
us. Period.
Good.
And I got a question here. Yes, Lisa, I am a Libra, and I have none of the Libra characteristics, or so I am told.
Hmm.
Not sure what that means, ladies, but I've been told that many, many times.
Interesting. Interesting.
Yeah, so I'm not going to ask that cheesy line. What's your sign?
Right.
Yeah, that was very 70s, and it didn't last very long, did it? Perfect. So, gals, with men, and this is something I now have a lot of experience with because I've been experimenting with this for quite some time, and that is these dating websites. Like, you ladies have got to have something to say. You gotta. There's a bunch of my friends. They'll come over here. They bring their laptops. I got a nice couch right over here, and I got a couple tables right over here, and they'll crack open the laptops and they'll read crap to me. Like, hey guys, listen to this. Chick number 1 says, hey. Chick number 2 says, hi. Chick number 3 says, what's up? No. That's not how you get dates on dating apps. Ask a question. Introduce yourself. Hi, I'm Susan. Ask him a question. Now it's on him to reply. You don't have to be vulgar. No, you don't have to send nude pictures. Just ask a question, for God's sakes. Never mind this hi and hey shit. Pardon my French. It's junk. It's bad. It's borderline classless because anyone can say it. Yeah, it's like a comedian that goes on stage and does nothing but pick his nose for 5 minutes. Anyone can do that. It's not special. It's not interesting. It's mundane. So I'm going to ask all the gals watching, please avoid mundanity at all costs. That the greatest sin one human being can commit is being boring. So, Melanie, I want to get your take on what I just said. You're up.
You just said a lot. I especially like the last line though. The greatest sin is to be boring. It's pretty
Christopher Hitchens
amusing,
said that, actually.
right? Yeah,
My
that's
favorite
pretty
author.
amusing. I think these were great questions, and yeah, I would agree the dating apps because I was on them, and I can tell you almost 90% of the conversations started with hi or hello. And yeah, that's a pretty weak start. So
It's awful.
yeah. So the questions, I've often said, even to my kids as they were trying to develop their social skills, I've said that the easiest way to get someone talking is to ask them questions about themselves. I've said that to my kids for years, and my oldest is almost 30. So I guess we can all take that at motherly advice and yeah, just go with that. Ask questions because that's really the way that conversations get started and get rolling.
The psychology of questions, everybody, is exactly what Melanie just said. People will talk if you ask them questions. Why do you think the police ask questions all the time? So it's constantly asking you questions. They want you to divulge information about crimes that you did or did not commit so they can peg something on you. So ignore that now. I'm just saying, whoa, ignore that part. But what we do is we get you asking questions because people cannot resist answering. And the average man is not going to look at a woman asking him questions and saying, none of your business, man, get lost. Yeah, it's just, you're not going to get that. And if you do, it's once in a lifetime. It truly is. So why is it, Melanie, that women don't understand this and never have a repertoire of questions open to them? Go ahead.
Wow. Um, that's a really good question. I think because we live well, I think this comes to like the social conditioning again. We've all got our phones in our hands all the time. So I think that people have been really dumbed down as far as social skills go. If you were to ask a woman this 20 years ago, you probably have a different answer than you're getting from me today. But it's it is time to remember that and to ask questions. One of the easiest things to talk about is ourselves. So if someone's not asking us questions, ask them questions because then they can talk about themselves. And it really does help to avoid the awkward silence.
Yes, it does. And I know that not everybody's going to answer questions as diligently or bluntly as I do. You know, I did have one woman, it was really terrible. She asked me one day, so tell me about yourself. I said, all right, my name is Kevin J Johnston. I stand 5'6". I am 208 pounds. My body fat percentage is 21.5. I was educated informally and I listed all the education centers I went to. And I said, that's it. And I waited. I deliberately cut off right in the middle of what seemed like the addition to it. And she had no idea what to say. So not a very imaginative individual, somebody I'm sure that I would be bored with, you know, because when I cut the sentence off, she could have said, that's it. Like, don't let me stop you. You know, a confident woman would say, no, keep going. You're on a roll. Right. That's flirting. And that's like flirting personified. So keep going. Well, how would you recommend to women now that I've said my piece, and sometimes we know there's women out there that just won't listen to men. How do we get them to maybe listen to you and have you explain to them or re-explain what I have? Because men and women will explain things differently. And today, the reason I bring this up, Melanie, today I did a TikTok live and I was answering questions, like very serious political questions. And I had this slew of accusations about, number one, Kevin, you're full of yourself. And number two, you're very rude. I'm thinking, no, I'm not rude. I'm direct, and you're not used to that in society. I'm confident. You're not used to that in society. I'm passionate. You're not used to that in society. So that's the reason I bring that up, is that some women might perceive me explaining this as rude or mansplaining, whatever the hell that means, or otherwise. So please, by all means, pick it up from here. And you know what? You tell them if I'm right or wrong. Go. Let's hear it.
Well, I'm going to say you're probably right because you're telling us what guys would probably like to hear, and we're not guys. So I'm saying we should probably try this technique, ask some questions. Um, I think one mistake we as women make is sometimes divulging too much personal information up front, and you've been very clear that guys actually really don't care. So let's just leave that. Let's not talk about friends and drama and family drama and all of that kind of thing. Let's talk about some topics that are easy to digest, that you could probably laugh about, and some things that may lead to other dates, like you were talking about activities and movies and music and that sort of thing. Those have huge potential to um, segue into an invitation to a second or third date. So let's try this. I think this is good advice, and I think we should experiment with it.
Excellent. Well, thank you for saying so. And ladies, I know that I come across as sometimes borderline obnoxious. It's part of my charm, but I wouldn't come out here and say any of this if I did not for an instant think that any of it was not true. It is absolutely true. And I have lots of conversations. I mean, at this age, Melanie, you and I are single at age 52. We're both 52. Well, no, you're not. You're kind of dating, kind of, sort of.
51. Well, yeah, I would say I'm dating. Yeah.
Yeah, you're 51. You had to correct me on that, huh? You couldn't just say 52, huh? All right. So we're both in our early 50s, and we have friends who are also in their 40s, 50s, and 60s who are single, and these conversations come up all the time. And that is, why are people so boring? Why is dating so difficult? It's such a pain in the ass. What's wrong with men? They suck. I hate women. What's wrong with women? And I'm sure it's a very serious lack of creativity and imagination in everybody in society.
Yeah.
And there is nothing wrong with exploring your funny side, because we're not quite in what I would call a post-scarcity society, but for the last 30 years, everything's been abundant. Food and water, clothing, it's all been abundant. So we have actually been in a position for the last 3 decades to have the freedom to be a bit more creative, a bit more fun, a bit more fun loving, a bit more interesting. And I find that a lot of folks, they get stuck in their ways, especially at this age, and they are not willing to grow in any way. And then they become hypercritical of everything instead of being funny with it, instead of looking at things more positively.
Yes.
They get cynical and crotchety and old. And oldness is not necessarily an age. It's more of a mindset. You know, my father was old at 35. Everything bothered him. He was a cranky SOB all the way through until death. For what reason? It served no purpose. It killed him at 67 years of age. You know, being angry all the time killed his liver. That's the truth. So I would encourage everybody out there, especially in your 40s and 50s, relax, be cool. Okay? Crap that bothered you when you were 20 should never bother you now. Why would it? Why would it? And I'm getting a lot of requests here in the email box. Kevin, of course. Kevin, you didn't show your butt picture last week. Yeah, well, you should be so lucky. And I got a bunch of people congratulating me on my recent personal victory. I wasn't competing with anybody but myself, but I deadlifted 500 pounds this week. And that was a goal of mine that I had to complete before December 31st. So I got a month and a half early. I was sore all day after that, but it was totally worth it.
Wow.
Absolutely. Well, thank you. Totally worth it. And this now leads me to another question. This is a strange one. Do you remember, wasn't last week or the week before, I showed everybody a Reddit posting on a website called Reddit, reddit.com, where someone took a photograph of me from the dating site on Calgary. It was like a Calgary dating site that I just decided to start posting on. And it was an image of me holding up 340 pounds, I guess. And I wrote down that I deadlifted 425. And I realized, oh crap, that's the wrong picture. And somebody took the picture and my description and stuck it on Reddit. And a whole whack of people, male and female, were just angry as hell about the fact that a guy who's 52 is first off single. Like, a lot of insults about that, but then hundreds of insults about the fact that a guy my age should not be lifting weights, male and female combined on that one. Now, what I'm wondering here, and could we get everybody in the chat rooms here to maybe light up on this one? Would anybody watching the show currently ever be angry with another human being for improving themselves? I got to hear this. And Melanie, can you think of any reason why women would speak ill of a man working out? Let me hear this. There's got to be a reason.
I think if you're bitter, jaded, and have low self-esteem, then potentially you could lash out at people just because. But other than those three reasons, I can't think of a logical reason why anyone should.
Well, actually, I was going to say that's probably 100% correct. There's a lot of angry people out there. And I think the internet has just made them angrier. You know,
Yeah.
Twitter is still just an absolute ball of rage. It's 24 hours a day, 7,000 days a year of just rage. And I'm trying to figure out why it is that everybody is so upset with everybody else and dying to insult someone that they don't know.
I feel like if you're that easily triggered, you probably should just shut your phone off and stay off the internet.
Yeah. And you know what? I would also say just stay off the dating websites so that decent people don't get hooked up with you. Right? Because that is absolutely brutal. How enraged some people really can get on the internet. And the dating profile, sorry, the dating threads and commentaries out there seem to get the worst of the worst. Like there's more anger and vitriol in the dating chat threads than there are in the Israel-Palestine threads right now.
Good grief.
Yeah.
Crazy world.
I know. Like, dating is supposed to be fun. It's a pain in the ass.
It is. Yes.
It is a pain in the ass, but I don't know. When was the last time going on a date cost you your house or got you killed? Right? You can always walk away.
True.
Yeah. And really, if you're on a dating website and you have a couple of chit chats back and forth, and then you make the announcement that I think it's time that we move this conversation to the phone. And if you talk on the phone and there's no chemistry, well, then just say, well, listen, thank you for the conversation. I don't think I'm interested. You can just end it right there on the spot, but try, damn it. Try. I was never a Wayne Gretzky fan, but he was right when he said 100% of the shots you don't take don't go in. Man, was he correct. And people aren't taking the shots. Or they are with hi. Hello. How are you? Hi. Hello. Yeah. They sound like parrots. Hello. Hello. You're not getting anywhere with that nonsense.
Yeah.
Absolutely not. I don't. Okay. I got a quick email here. David, if you have questions and you want to come in and ask Melanie something, by all means, send me your email address. I'll send you the link to come in and you can ask your questions. So anybody that's got questions and you want to come in here and ask them quickly, no swearing, please. But let me know and I'll email you over the link to come on in. And in the meantime, if you don't want to come in here, you can throw your questions in any of the chat rooms. We're watching all the Facebook pages tonight. We're watching D Live. We're watching Twitch. And, oh, God, we're even live on Twitter tonight. No way.
Oh,
check that out. Oh, we're live everywhere. So just go ahead and throw your questions in the room and we will address.
I have a question for the guys. And I know because as women, we pretty much have a pretty clear comprehension on the first date, whether we want that to go any further. I wondered if guys feel the same way. Do they kind of get a read on a person as early as the first date?
Guys, anyone want to answer that question, or would you like me to answer that question? Because I'm okay answering that question. So yes, the answer is yes. If he knows what he wants, not every man does, but if he knows what he wants, he will identify that very rapidly. The example that I can give you is when I met my wife 23 years ago. Is I was working, we had our laptops in this banquet hall and we were watching the hockey game up on the screen and this gorgeous chick walks in. And I said, gentlemen, I closed the laptop lid. Excuse me for a few minutes. And I walked over and I said, "Hey, what's up? Listen, I've never seen you here before, and I work for this guy. And I tell you what, I am going to buy you a drink. You're going to join me. And if you think I'm a creep after 5 minutes, get up and leave. No hard feelings. And I'm buying the drink regardless. How does that sound?" She thought that was funny. So we sat down, and 4.5 hours later, my buddies all put their laptops in their bags and called me an a-hole and walked out the door, and didn't really care, because I identified immediately within, I'd say, the first 10 minutes of talking to her, that there was going to be a second date. And there was, obviously, and a third, and a fourth, and a 10th, and the list goes on. So when a man knows what he wants, the answer is yes. If a man doesn't know what he wants, then he's an idiot and he's not going to get anywhere. And I wouldn't date a guy, if I were you ladies, who doesn't know what he wants, because you're not going to convince him that he wants you if he doesn't know in general in life what he wants.
Yeah.
You got to avoid those guys. Yeah. So let me check the chat rooms here and checking the email box.
Right.
All right. Very good. Kevin, why do you people ask me these questions, for God's sakes? Kevin, would you ever date a BBW? Do you know what that stands for?
I think I do. Yeah.
Yeah. Big, beautiful woman. That's a way of saying overweight. That's what it means. All right.
Yeah.
Why don't you just say overweight? Okay. To answer that question, because I always answer questions honestly, I'm not attracted to that. It's not my taste. And you're not going to convince me that it's my taste. And you're not going to convince me that I should alter my taste for a couple of nights for giving this person the benefit of the doubt. As I said, I have a preference. My women between 5 foot and 5'4", 5'5", maybe. It's a preference. I like them 36, 24, 36. I like them fit. I like a woman who can keep up with me physically. Like, I mean, running and biking and I don't know, whatever activity for the day, rowing, tennis, pickleball, rock climbing. And someone who is obese is not going to be able to keep up with me in that light. We probably live two very, very different lifestyles. And at the end of the day, I still like my curves. It's just my taste. It doesn't mean that you're not going to find some other guy who does want to be with you. I'm not it. That's all. And I don't think Melanie likes me at all. I don't think Melanie's one bit attracted to me, so I have no shot. And my ego can take it. It's just how it is. I think I'm actually too short for you, aren't I? Go ahead. Let me hear it.
Not necessarily, as long as the man's taller than me, even by a couple inches. I'm not, that's, I think generally, yeah, we're attracted to taller guys, but that's not a deal breaker for me. So
okay. Oh, and Rick says, hey ladies, he likes big, beautiful women, and he says he'll go for it. So Rick in the chat room in Rumble has a different taste than I do. And that's your guy. So I think what usually happens with that kind of a leading question is that somebody will then follow that up with, well, that means you hate fat women. No, it's not what I said. All right. At all. I'm just not attracted to that particular body shape. All right. That's how it is. Period. And look, guys, my ego and ladies, my ego can tolerate the fact that there are women out there who just will not touch a guy who's under 6 feet tall. So I'm out. And I think maybe the first or the second episode we did of this, I did speed dating one night. And the first question out of one of the girls' mouths is, do you have an 8-inch penis or bigger? I just smiled. Like, I'm sorry, I can't help you. I'm the wrong guy. My ego can take it. I'm not 8 inches. All right. So good for her for announcing what she wanted. She didn't waste my time or hers. She got to the point. And do I look offended by that? And I shouldn't be, because it's not my place to be offended by that. If I'm not someone's cup of tea, okay, then I'm not going to be around. You don't like my personality. It's fine. We don't have to talk. If you think I'm a complete jerk, you don't even have to watch this show. Its choices are amazing. So there we go. Now, Melanie, I got to ask you this one. All right. Because this comes up all the time on all of these blogs that you see online and video blogs and whatnot, where men are asking women randomly on the streets, Will you date a guy under 6 feet? Now, these are typically girls under 30. So we get the maturity level of the answers, but they'll say, no, he's got to be 6'2" minimum. Nah, nah, nah. And fine, these men who are, or young men who are asking the questions, they tolerate this stuff because they're obviously getting views. But then they'll ask, is it okay for a man to say he doesn't want to be with a heavier woman? No, that's not okay. It's not okay for men to say that because all women are beautiful no matter. Wow. Now, please, if you could explain that double standard to me, because I don't get it. I'm lost.
Well, I know the double standard definitely is probably more common with the younger women. Um, I just find there's a whole different mindset. Honestly, I feel like 30 and under is a hopeless generation. I just I am so glad that I don't fall into that category now because of all of the social media and just, I guess, all the crap they're just fed visually through that just leaves some really unrealistic expectations. And I just don't know how anyone in real life can match up to what most people are expecting and think that they're entitled to.
Well,
It's
there you
kind of
go. Yeah, entitled. You're not entitled to anybody's time. You're not entitled to anybody at all. And there is a contingent of men out there. They're called incels, or society is calling them that, which is involuntary celibate, where they are just so socially inept that they can't talk to women. Ergo, they can't get to bed with them. And so they walk around through life angry as hell, and they actually commit acts of violence based on their frustrations. But these guys don't seem to comprehend that no woman owes you their body or their time. If you have nothing to offer, then you better find a way to have something to offer, as opposed to whining on Twitter. Do something about it. Period.
yeah.
So yeah, we have a lot of issues with all of this. And I wanted to say that nobody should ever feel entitled. And the older I get, I don't know if this is something that everybody shares in their viewpoint, but I'm always thankful for the time that I have with someone. Even if it doesn't go to, let's say, a second date, fine. I'm thankful that I at least had an opportunity to try. And I carry on. And I remember only the good things about the night. The only negative part that I would remember is that there will not be a second date. But that does not mean she's a bad person. It just means there was no compatibility or no flame, no fire.
Yeah.
And it is okay for there not to be any fire. What I would encourage everyone to do is please stop taking offense to things like this.
Yeah.
If you're not going to gel with everybody. It's just how it is. Yeah. How many years have I played hockey and just not liked 2 or 3 members of the team as individuals? I don't like them as people. They're on my team though. So you suck it up, you play the game, and you go home. I don't have to hang out with them after the game.
Right. Yeah.
I just
I
don't.
kind of look I kind of look at it this way. You have a date that didn't go so well. There's always something you could take from that, whether it was some way that you can improve on a conversation technique or anything like that. And really every life experience is part of our collective experience that makes us who we are or who we're becoming. So so just take something good out of it all and carry on.
Well, that's the right way to look at it.
Mhm.
Our society we've been coddling everybody within it. And we have been telling everyone, your feelings matter. Do you know why? Because we say so. And obviously we know what we're talking about. So please put on a big emotional display every time you don't get your way. Pout, hold your breath, squawk, complain.
Do a
Go on
TikTok.
go on TikTok. That's right. And tell everybody how bad your date was, because that's really important and the whole world needs to know this stuff. Because it's such a turn on to see a chick who's 27 whining about a bad date. Man, I can't wait to line up and date you. Can you give me your phone number, please? Because I want you to complain about me next online. Yeah, I don't think that these this is more of a female thing than men complaining
Mhm.
about dates. I don't think they realize what irreparable damage they are doing to themselves. because the next potential guy in line that sees that, he may not be sticking around. He doesn't want to be victimized by that. And that is victimization. It's a very callous act to do so. The date didn't work. Shut up. So what? Any clue as to why young women are doing this? Any idea?
Not really. I wish I understood that generation. There is really a difference, like an obvious, vast difference in the mindset of the different generations. Like Gen X is so different, and I don't know. It's really, and the further along we go in this game of a life, the more obvious that difference is becoming to me.
Well, yeah, and I'm starting to comprehend now the difference between my grandmother and my mother when I was younger. The two of them saw eye to eye on two things: bingo night and cooking. Aside from that, they got along on nothing. And I get it. My grandmother was born before World War One. My mother was born well after World War Two. There was there was a gap. There was two world wars in between. I see that.
I don't
But
think it was as obvious then, but man, now it sure is.
mm,
Crazy.
well, yeah, it is because I think everyone's made the mistake. I don't think. I know everyone's made the mistake of believing that they have to pledge allegiance to one particular idea or another. And no one has ever caught on to the fact that you can just say, you know what, I'm going to remain neutral. You can't be completely neutral on everything.
Mhm.
And you certainly cannot be a chaotic neutral because that doesn't make any sense. You would still be doing crazy things, but you certainly can um, try a little bit of everything, but not declare yourself a member of any particular cult or clique. But everybody wants to be part of a cult or a clique these days, which means no one's getting along if we find out the person we're on a date with is of the other clique. And that is a huge issue. So if you're under 30, forget these cliques. Forget it. You like left wing, right wing, LGBTQ, straight, hyper straight, whatever. Don't bother joining any of these groups. Be you. Improve you. Fill your head with knowledge. Go to the gym. Get your ass looking good. Whatever it takes. Forget the cliques. Forget the groups. They're going to drag you down. The reason that most people culminate into these cliques and groups is because they're very weak people who don't fit in to society. So they all want to get together and bitch and moan and complain to each other as often as possible. But the problem is all of you are doing it publicly. So you're making yourself look like a total fool being a part of these cliques. And that is going to eliminate some potentially perfect mates for you who have nothing but disdain for that kind of behavior. So don't do it. Don't join groups. Yeah, and thank you, Liz. It's absolutely true. The young folks do this, and I don't think that they know that they don't have to, and I that's a real problem when we don't know as a society that we actually have the option to not get involved. We have the right to remain silent. We have the right to speak. We have the right to do any of these things, but let's not join groups that will take our focus away from self-improvement. Period.
Yeah.
Oh, is there anything else you wanted to add on this so far?
Oh, well, no, but I feel like we can do better as single people, all of us. Yeah, I feel like we can do better. I'm not saying settle. I'm not saying lower your bar or your deserve level, but definitely ask better questions, be a better listener, improve our conversation skills. There's always room for growth and improvement. So
Mhm.
I feel like, yeah, as single people, we can do better and potentially set an example or teach other people a thing or two along the way. And maybe maybe we can turn the hopelessness around to a certain extent and balance the scales of quantity over quality. Maybe we can tip that scale a little bit.
Okay. I don't disagree with that. And Douglas, you nailed it, buddy. You nailed it. We need to get back to face-to-face dating and not over the internet. I agree fully. The internet should be what we do to set dates up. Obviously, we don't have the time, the money, the fuel, the resources to go to singles nights all over the place. So you have a wider selection online, but you got to get off the internet as quickly as you can and talk in person.
Absolutely. Yeah. He's so right.
Yes. And I want to say thank you to the gentleman that just played a bit of a prank on me here. He says, you absolutely must Google the term. Let me tell you the exact term. What space movie came out in 1992? So after the show, everybody Google that. I just did. It's really, really, really funny. It's really funny, but I'm not going to show you. It's yeah. I get pranked like this sometimes when we're doing the show, because sometimes my fans will send me real stuff. And sometimes they hit me with some of these funny things. So I am smiling quite a bit because it is funny. And a sense of humor is necessary these days because everybody's offended by absolutely everything.
Yes.
Right. There's another thing I did want to add, though, to my initial list of 10 things that you do not have to be to be with men or to get dates with men. Ladies, you don't have to be the funny ones. I know as men, if we can't make a woman laugh, we are out of the breeding game. All right. But you don't have to be funny to be in the breeding game. So if you are funny, great. If you've got a good personality and the things you say are just naturally funny, that's awesome. But you don't have to be stand-up comedians. The whole thing of be yourself. Some people are just naturally funny. Some people naturally have a demeanor that is either funny on its own or leads to funny incidents taking place, or maybe just unlucky things happening that are funny. But you don't have to memorize 5,000 stupid jokes and start cracking jokes if you are not someone who can make people laugh without jokes. Mm-hmm. Sometimes you can just make something like Melanie's made me laugh twice tonight that I can remember. So it's entirely possible just to be funny by being honest and sincere and forthright. Yeah, mm-hmm. You do not need to be the funny one. That's the guy's job. Now, guys, how do you get funny? Okay, never mind. Don't go to TikTok and do anything that they do. All right. You know, there are people that make money eating weird things and then taking photos of what comes out in the toilet the next day. And they make money doing this. It's not funny at all. It's repugnant in every way. The only thing that's mildly amusing is the fact that society has chosen to consume this. That's mildly amusing, but also extremely sad. Extremely sad. So let's forget toilet humor. That's for guys. Mm-hmm. You know, to expand your capacity to crack jokes, you absolutely, men, I'm talking to you now, you have to expand your vocabulary. It's got to get bigger. If you can get your hands on a dictionary, especially Webster's, they seem to be the best. The big ones that are printed before 1996, they're the best ones to go with because they have no left-wing ideology within it. None. It's just words and definitions. Build that up. The more words you know, the more things that you know. The more things that you know, the more life experiences you can draw upon, and the more stories you can create based on these new words that you have in your head. Also, when you come across words that you might think are interesting or cool or fascinating, check the etymology on them, the history of that word, because that's going to lead to even more and more knowledge. You can be funny by having a smile on your face and having a large vocabulary and being prepared to use it. Even if you are feeling a bit shy, say something anyway. You never know. Mm-hmm. You don't have to memorize a ton of jokes. And what you can also do is tell stories from your life that are funny. You know, I've broken some bones in stupid ways. And when you stop and think about how stupid it was, it's actually funny, right? It is hilarious. It's hilarious that I almost rode my bike off of a cliff once. This was in Mississauga. The escarpment down by the current Burnthorpe Bridge had collapsed 2 days earlier. I didn't know about that. And I went whipping down at full speed and I thought something was wrong, but I ignored my baser instincts and then realized at the last second, damn it, I said more than that, hit the brakes, slid, and the bike went like that and almost went over, stopped, and I managed to throw my weight the other way and fall. You can embellish that story if you wanted to. You could add things like I was wearing these green socks that I couldn't stand. And my mother made me wear these shorts that had a pink stripe on the side. Yeah, make it funny. Add to a story. A bike accident is not necessarily funny, but all the build up to it can be. But you're never going to know that until you try. So as Doug said earlier there, yeah, face to face. So I am going to make the recommendation that all of you who do have any difficulty whatsoever speaking to people, join Toastmasters. Now, I don't get a commission for that. I went to Toastmasters myself just to see what the program was like. And there's a lot of people out there, Melanie, that just can't talk. They can't talk to others. Yeah. But they go to 4 or 5 of these classes and all of a sudden they can't shut up. So you got to start somewhere. Yeah. All right. We're down to 4 minutes here. You get the floor. What did you want to add? You're up.
All right. Well, I wanted to thank you for taking the pressure off of women, because I do think that, for the most part, we feel like we need to be all of these things, like you were saying, funny and have a nice place and, the career and the background and the credentials and all of that. And so thank you for being so honest and taking some pressure off of some women so we can just relax and know that it's okay to just be ourselves. Because I think as much as women, I think deep down it's just ingrained in all of us that we want a partner in life. And that's probably what we're subconsciously all searching for. So knowing that the opposite gender is also looking for the same thing, and that they see future potential, and so a lot of the current situation stuff with women doesn't matter, I think takes a tremendous amount of pressure off. So thank you for that.
I'd like there to be as much pressure off of people as is possible, because there's a lot of pressure on everybody with how crazy the world is these days. So the last thing that any of us should have is a crazy personal life. Crazy life outside the house, whatever. That's what we get paid to do during the week, and we all have obligations. But in our personal lives, I want as many people as possible to find peace and happiness.
Yeah.
And for you ladies out there, and this is not me saying you ladies derogatorily, but it's you ladies out there, do put these blocks in your head. Like, you are in your own way. And I'm begging you to understand that you don't have to be. It's good to just be you. And if that guy doesn't like you, so friggin' what? There's more out there.
Not meant to be. Not meant to be. You're just one step closer to finding the right one. So, yeah. Yeah,
there absolutely are. While we've been talking, I've had another couple of requests here. People want to see me with my shirt off now. And
better you than me. I'm glad they don't want to see me without mine on.
Well, I'll think about it. There you go. There's your answer. I'm going to think about it. All right. Everyone wants me to put on muscle shirts now that I'm lifting a considerable amount of weight. Like, I'm really bulking up now, muscular wise, but I haven't done my cutting program yet. I still got to shed 30 pounds of fat, which is fine because I'm not done putting on muscle mass yet. I'm still bulking. Yeah. I'm wanting to be strong. And I guess the last commentary here is there any advice that you'd like to give to the guys watching about how to talk to women or how to approach women? Because we've only got 90 seconds left. You're up.
Right. Well, we don't really have a lot of time for that, but I think genuinely we just really want sincerity, we want integrity, and we want honesty, and just be yourself. And again, if it's not what she's looking for, when you are yourself, that just means that she's not the right one. And we're all just, like I said, one step closer to maybe finding that right one. So just be sincere, be genuine.
And in the meantime, I'm going to add to that by saying, guys, work on yourselves, man. If you're not with somebody, right, even if you are with somebody, work on yourself. Gym, read books, read the dictionary, build yourselves up every way you possibly can, because you just never know when you're going to meet that special someone. All right. Well, that's it for today, Melanie. Thanks for being here. It's a pleasure as always to see you.
My pleasure too.
Next time you go on a date, record it. So, and ask those questions and let's see how it turns out.
Okay.
You'll have to get the guy to sign and I guess what do you call it, an NDA afterwards or
Right.
a
Yes.
release
Yeah.
statement. But yeah, there we go. Thanks for being here. We'll see you in a week.
See you.
Melanie Switzer, everybody, the phenomenal, the gorgeous, the amazing, the amazing lady and singer. You got to listen to what she has to say and what she has to sing. It's a pleasure to know someone who is so multi-talented and is just so much fun to talk to. And that is something, ladies, that I'd love more of you to be. Just kick back, chill out, relax, have some fun. Life is really friggin' short. So I'd hate for you to be 83 years of age and realizing at that age that you should have been a little bit more laid back all along. I'm asking you now, be that now, because life is going to escape you real quick. In the meantime, everyone, thank you for being here. My name is Kevin J Johnston. This is the amazing dating advice show. That'll be every Thursday. We're going to do at least 3 more of these. And at the end of the 8th episode, we're going to let you tell us if you want to see more of this kind of content. You'll catch it every Thursday, 7 p.m. Mountain Time and 9 p.m. Eastern Time. That is it for now. I love you all and good night.